Yes, ma'am. Can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so welcome back, second session. In the first part, we have just checked on why do we need to create e-content, how to switch over from content consumer to content creator, what are the some easily available platforms, how to where to start, whether students find it difficult, whether we find it difficult. So this was about pushing you into creating something on your own. Now, in this particular part, I would like to talk on a very individual concern kind of a thing. Tell me one thing, how many of you are active researchers? Because there are two types of researchers, active and passive. Passive researchers are those who have to put something together just to score some marks. And active researchers are those who are regularly indulging into research. There is nothing wrong in not to do research. There are some good teachers and there are some good researchers, but basically our system is, excessively asking for all the aspects from a teacher. So we cannot not be a researcher if we are working in a higher education. How many of you are researchers? I'm sure all of us are researchers. Yes, Mridila ma'am is saying. At least, I'm sure everyone must have written a few research papers or at least created something. Am I right? Yes, because that is like bare minimum requirement for all of us. Correct. So this talk is specifically about how to maximize our presence online, where to put our research, where to put our e-content, and how to optimize this. So let me just start with one really basic question. How many of you know how you appear online? How many of you Google yourself regularly? How many of you have checked that when you type your name online or put your name in some search engine, how do you appear? How many of you have checked, or how many of you are checking it regularly? Good. Pawan sir is doing it. Okay, Varsha ma'am is doing. Anita ma'am is doing. Yes. Only 3 responses. Rajesh sir, Vidila ma'am, Chetna ma'am. Yes. Have you ever
try करनी पड़ेगी?
Pawan sir says yes.
What did Martin do when he went to the man?
Vidhi ma'am, kindly mute yourself.
Others? Have you ever checked how do you appear online when you put your name? Okay, let me ask you one thing. Have you ever realized that someone else is using your name, and when you type your name, someone else's profile comes online? Has anyone experienced that? It's very scary, but has anyone experienced that? Yes. That someone else is using your name, or maybe you type your name or you try and find out about yourself, and then the one which comes on screen is not. Pawan sir is saying citation also.
Bhagwat sir, please mute yourself.
Pooja ma'am, right now I'm the host, so I'm muting them, but at least they try and mute them. Yes. Okay, so I'm asking for 2. Varsha ma'am says no, but I've heard about other bad experience. No, it is not bad experience. What I'm telling is something either we create very consciously for ourselves, or else it will get mixed up in the entire, kind of a monstrous data online. So this talk is particularly, concentrated on how you can optimize your presence online and what to do, and especially what not to do. So after creating e-content, or after writing something, or after writing one research paper, after, sharing one PPT, where do you put it so that your online presence could be maximized? So my talk is all about that. You are free to ask some questions, and this session I'll be asking a lot of questions. If you wish to write in the chat box, you may write, but at least try and find out parallelly. I mean, if you are having that access to maybe laptop or something, see how it appears when I ask you something. Let me just put my screen share. Do you have my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here I'm giving you some reasons need to go digital. Why? I mean, this is irrespective of whether you are creating something online or no. Need to go digital. It has become more and more essential for academics to extend their career into digital world. Effective use of digital tools is very advantageous when it comes to academic networking, reputation building, and dissemination of knowledge. Why should you care? So this is something which I'm trying to justify my point when I'm telling you to go online. 7 out of 10 people who use the internet have searched for information about other people. Ask yourselves that how many of you have Googled those names of the resource persons before even starting or even after that? Have you done that? I'm sure you all must have done that, or at least 50% of you must have done that. Yes, ma'am? Because when we are searching for something, it is not only about how do we appear, but it is also about some other reasons. Look at the reasons here on the screen. Current and potential employers, they search for us. 79% of the recruiters and hiring managers, they check the screen job. 80% of hiring managers have told candidates they were rejected based on what was found online about them. 44% of adults who use internet have searched for information about people with whom they are interacting. As I have told you, many of you must have Googled us or maybe searched our names online. So this is where you cannot escape. And this is where we need to control on how do we appear online. So why should you care? Scholarship, this is about having your academic presence, is increasingly going digital. University staff profiles is being used to fund, used to do a lot of other, networking. Academic networks connect researchers around the globe, journal articles online, social media. So the expectation is that you can be found online. Now, this is another, topic of debate. Many of the senior professors, senior academicians, they still do not agree on being found online. But tell me something, how many of you have actually seen that when we have to deal with some experts, or nowadays, what comes online, what appears online is something what we all believe and we want to believe. So the expectation is that you can be found online. Okay, that is one expectation of people. Now, how do we appear online? That is completely in our hands. So when we are talking about this, do you know how you appear online, which I have already asked you, that how you appear online? Your posts on the Facebook and Instagram is appearing online more, or your research work is appearing online more, or your other activities appearing online more, or your vacation photographs appearing online more? You decide. First you check, then you control, then you decide. So what do you create? Please remember, nothing goes deleted, nothing goes erased. Whatever we create online, it stays. Somewhere in some format, it stays there. And then we never know in what type, what format it will come up. That means we can, our own digital presence or the way we appear online, I divide it in two parts. I call it either digital footprint or a digital shadow. So these are the two words I've given to your online presence. So in the future, your digital footprint will carry far more weight than anything but you might include on a resume. Many of the advanced companies, corporates, they are already done away. They are no more asking for your resume when you apply for a job or when you're offering some, networked or assignments or something, because they have already searched about you. They have found your resume online. They have quantified and qualified, your work. And then finally, they have already made one profile of you depending on the kind of things you are doing online. I know it is a very tricky thing to do. It is sometimes not even going in favor of us. But unfortunately, we are in that world where jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai. And in future, your digital footprint will be enough for everybody. I think we are in that future now. We are in that area now. Madam, my slides changing. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is changing.
Okay, thank you. So what is your digital footprint and what is your digital shadow? So digital footprint is something which you create consciously, which you take care, which you want to put, and which is like very consciously, put online. So what is your digital shadow? The content created about you. Can you just, is anyone, can anyone give me any example here? Let me just share my own experience here very quickly. This was about maybe 4, 5, 6 years back. And then our students, as you all know, they are very vocal about a lot of things. And then their life actually is about Insta and Facebook and their likes and dislikes. And of course, I had a student, very good student in one of the, PG classes. And then he was very vocal about, and he was a kind of an activist student. And then his dressing and his Insta pics, and very vocal about certain things, certain areas of life. When that student met me after 5 years, and then I just happened to talk to him, what happened, Karan? Karan said, ma'am, you know what? He was very good in studies also, but he did not find a good job. He said, ma'am, my own digital appearance is going against me when I am trying to apply for some jobs in the service sector and hospitality, because my posts about, being vocal about so many issues and the language I have used and the photographs I have tagged has gone against me. One very small example. So when he has not created something consciously, there was a lot of things which was created about him. For us also, please remember, when we don't create something consciously, it doesn't mean that we don't exist online. We do exist online. But in that case, you will be either subdued, or you will be modified, or you will be put in some very different light. And that is considered as your digital shadow. Ma'am, slide there in front of you.
Yes, ma'am.
So our objective now, being a responsible individual e-content creator, is to create more digital footprint than to create more digital shadow. So what's our digital footprint? It is a term used to describe the trail or the traces or the footprints that people have online. It can be passive or active, data left behind by users on digital services, sometimes referred to as the cyber shadow or a digital shadow. It can also be referred to an individual or business or the organization or the corporation. Many a times when you search for some company, you might find one very obsolete kind of a website where nothing opens up, and then this looks like abandoned kind of an entity. Now that person who has created the website did not have even, kind of a very actively closed it down. So what happens? It is dragged into the traffic, and then finally what is left behind is the digital share. So what can you do? Know what information, that means footprint or a shadow, is out there. Another reason for all of us to check our online presence regularly. How do we appear? Whether would you like to delete something, modify something? That means take control your footprint and minimize your shadow. 4 steps to build your online presence. As I've already told you, many of us are using only social media extensively to be, to be found online. Please remember, as I've told you, my own personal experience, not there on Facebook, not there on Instagram, or not there on Twitter. Very consciously keeping away from that because of some, untoward experiences. But it is not stopping me from having my online presence on some other media, of course, academically involved social media. So what do we need here? We need networking, we need engagement, we need discovery, and we need dissemination. Let's very quickly go with networking. Social media and academic platforms allow you to reach out and communicate with academics in your field. Please remember, this is not even talking about, I'm not even talking about your online e-content creation. This is just the way you appear or network or connect with people of, your area. Sharing resources online. So take part in conversations relating to your field of study, build communities that connect researchers from across the world. I'm going to give you at least 5 or 6 very prominent platforms in this slide so that you understand the power of, networking, online network. Next step is called digital engagement. Using social media can help you identify the right kind of stakeholders outside even academia. Now you might wonder, why do I even need someone outside my academic field? Please remember, you need to be in the limelight for the government funding, international projects, international associations, international networking, even national networking. You need to be there online because this is how you'll be found. Collaboration in engagement. Invite external stakeholders in your research by collecting data using digital method, by sharing your research finding on digital format. So one small step of just putting your research paper or research publication in a right kind of a platform and then connecting that paper with right kind of people and then see how much, kind of support you generate automatically. Updated information tracking. Discover what is happening in your academic field through different online platforms. Unfortunately, many of us have stopped that habit of reading. Now, reading is, when I say reading, I equally put that stress on online surfing about the topic, about our area, about our field of studies, or about our field of teaching. All the more reason for all of us to be aware about what is happening in our field of teaching, our expertise, or a domain area, because please remember, our students are one step ahead of us, and they will not tolerate us with any obsolete, not very, current kind of a knowledge or information if we are in the classroom. How to discover? Following organization, funding bodies, and other academics. So these are some of the areas where keep up your date, find your other researcher in the same field, and be aware of the funding opportunities. Let me just share my own personal experiences after I talk about it, how this online presence help you in getting a lot of other opportunities. Connect with followers. It is equally, working as if you are talking about the Facebook. If you don't, maybe this, my slide right now, if you look at it from the Facebook point of view, everything stands correct. Because there also, we connect with followers, keep your followers up to date, posting about a lot of activities. But here I am just using one extra word, academic platforms. That means using a range of digital media like texts and images and videos and infographics, having your own website. Of course, all these things matter a lot. Developing your digital footprint, how to optimize your digital tools. Okay, so let us start with some really basic steps. First is how we do it. Regular Google search about you, about your institution, about your work, about your colleagues. Ongoing Google alerts of your name. Google gives us that facility, as in when your name is mentioned, you get your alert in whatever format. Please set that alert. Measure your digital footprint. What are the steps to develop your digital footprint? First is online presence, track your progress, promote your work on social media, including your entertainment social media or academic social. Now, when you track yourself or when you search yourself, how do you appear? How many of the results are relevant? Just try and Google your name and you will understand that there are many irrelevant results or the pages which are being generated in your search. Pooja ma'am, am I audible? Screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am, you are very much audible, ma'am.
Okay, yes, thank you. Any identity mixed up? I am again asking this to many of you that sometimes surnames are mixed up, names are mixed up, institutions are mixed up. So what type of result come up? Are all of them from your institute? Do you know all the information about you? See, sometimes it comes to us also as a kind of a surprise or sometimes a shock that this is not me. They are putting something really, this is a mixed up identity. Are your publications there? Are your online profiles correct? All your Facebook photos really yours or you put it? If the results are obviously nothing to do with you, that means it is obvious that someone else is looking for you. And that someone is already corrected your digital shadow. Okay. Now tell me something about your own presence. I would like to divide your identity online into two parts: personal identity and professional identity. Personal profile and professional profile. To create your professional profile, I have given you two names here, that is academia or your institution or Google Scholar. But Facebook is a question mark when you look at it from the professional point of view. I do not rule out that possibility of Facebook being used as a professional identity. But more or less, when we talk about LinkedIn or academia or Google Scholar, it is much more, reliable and verifiable identity. One suggestion, please separate your professional and personal online presence. Maintain two different profiles. For your friends and relatives, maintain your personal profile. But for your academic growth, please maintain your professional profile very, very seriously. We all understand social media do's and don'ts, but still, when you are keeping your profile online, please try and follow these do's and don'ts. These are there on your screen. I am going little bit fast because then I need to, share a lot of other profiles. This one point I would like to talk: keep your public accounts professional and make your personal accounts private. Now, it is always advisable to maintain two accounts, as I have told you, but sometimes we just mixed up both the things. Try and put all our institutional pictures on our Facebook or the academic, achievements on our Twitter or something. It is not reaching out to the right kind of audience. Maybe that efforts are not, getting that kind of a leverage here. When you do that, stay respectful and polite when engaging in online discussions. So mainly talk about do's, and then you will realize that you automatically become responsible, you automatically become serious, and you automatically become professional in dealing with your professional, kind of online presence. What digital platforms can you use to optimize your online presence? Okay. Type your name into Google. What is the first thing that appears? if that first thing appears is your professional profile, you are in a right kind of a mode and you are doing something right to create your professional profile coming up as a first thing. Prompting your work on social media increases the discoverability as well as number of people, those who follow it. Now let us start first thing first. ORCID, Open Researcher and Contributor ID. As a researcher, almost 95% of the global websites about the research, it is all about your ORCID ID. Tell me how many of you have your ORCID ID? Put it in the chat. How many of you have ORCID ID?
Yes, I have, ma'am.
Please put it either thumbs up or just put that yes. ORCID, Open Researcher and Contributor ID. If you don't have, first thing you do after finishing this FDP today is create your ORCID ID. I'll tell you the reason, because this is your identity irrespective of which part of research or which part of institute you are. This is your global number, your global identity, and this will connect you with a lot of other research platforms. So please create your ORCID ID today itself. Why use an ORCID? All research outputs and activities are attributed. It records stay with you throughout your career, becoming an international standard. ORCID number is asked by many of the journals, even for the submission of your articles. ORCID can help synchronize all your information. So if you have ORCID, it will automatically find your documents, your research from any of online available presence, books or journals or other platforms, and it will consolidate your presence, auto synchronize. So on Web of Science, on Scopus, on Google Scholar, on any other areas, ORCID will automatically synchronize. ORCID will automatically consolidate your work. Even if you don't have any research online, create your ORCID ID. This is something which is need of the hour. So this is how you create your ORCID. Follow the link, register for free, include your ORCID identifier when you submit your publication, when you apply for grant, or when you check your research workflow. Add your professional information to your ORCID record. This is very important thing for you as a researcher to have your ORCID number. Another two very important platforms I am talking about here is academia.edu and ResearchGate. Academia is a subscription-based platform. It is also available for free. And ResearchGate is totally free. Academia doesn't require your official institutional email address, but to go on the ResearchGate, you need to have your official institutional email address. Academia is more popular in the American and Canadian kind of researchers and universities. ResearchGate is more popular in European and Southeast Asian universities. I mean, these are just overall observations. But if you write something and put it on, now you have to upload your papers manually on these two platforms. So even today, when you are putting some of your PPTs, even your lecture notes, even your own content which you have created, even if it is not a research paper, my advice is to put everything, upload everything on Academia and ResearchGate. Because they are asking for even preprint and book chapters and presentations and data sets and so many other things. That means you don't have to wait for your research paper to get published. You write something, even before it is published, you can upload it as a preprint. and you will be visible to a lot of other people. Of course, it needs one really, long lecture or session to give you all the ideas about nitty-gritties, but still, as a researcher, as an advanced, senior academicians, I'm sure you all will be finding these kind of platforms very interesting. Okay, second part of our talk. After having your online presence, how do you go ahead and what are the benefits? How many of you have heard of this word or maybe come across this very regular query when you are dealing with your NAC or maybe dealing with any other, NIRF, or everybody is asking you, what is your citation? What is your H index? What is your I-10 index? How many of you are aware about it? Please put it on the chat box. Or you can unmute and talk to us. What type of citations we do need, or what is the requirement for the institution also, and how do we generate? Of course, this is not a direct part of the e-content development, but it is directly linked to your e-content development. And that is why I'm talking about it. So, Research Scholar, Google Scholar, Academia, and ResearchGate. I'll be talking mainly about these three because in Indian, kind of academicians, we are talking mainly about these three. There are n number of other platforms, but still, we start with these three basic. Please remember, there are other kind of citation matrices. Google Scholar citation matrices are different from ResearchGate citation matrices. Pawan sir is also talking about UGC Vidwan. Very important point, Pawan sir. And then how many of you know about that repository called UGC Vidwan? UGC Vidwan is also asking you about your ORCID, and it is also consolidating your ORCID data into your Vidwan. And your Vidwan, you get your pointers or maybe your scale or your score. And all the researchers, many of the universities have made it compulsory to register for the UGC Vidwan, but your presence, even for the sake of international funding, international research, for availability, everything is now guided, decided by your presence online. I was fortunate enough to get at least 4 international research projects just because of my presence online. And it was the funding also got completely. I got my postdoctoral fellowship also through my research presence online. Of course, the UGC Vidwan score, I'm right now on 9.4 on 10. So these are the scores. Sometimes when you go for ICSSR projects, they are also checking your online scores. Please remember, when you're talking about the citations and, for your H index or I-10 index, I'm not taking a class on research or maybe the methodology, but very quickly I'm telling that the more you create online, the more you upload online, the more are the chances of you getting cited, the more are the chances by you getting the citation numbers, H index or I-10 index. As a researcher, I'm, very convinced that everybody should have the profile and everybody should have something online. And the strong research presence will basically help you a lot in your academic growth and your academic professional update. So let me just go back to this. So citation, when I'm talking about citation, this is directly related to your e-content, the way you check your online presence or you put your research online. And that is why I'm talking about this in my last part of the talk. So how to improve availability of research work and efforts? Put journal articles online. Many of us are now not putting a lot of articles in the print journal because of this one very pertinent issue, that the citation and the reach out is not being, streamlined. But there is a way to put it. Even if you have your published publication in the offline mode, there is a way. The way we all are following, I am following, is download the actual PDF and then upload it on your ResearchGate or your academia, and then Google will find your journal name, and then you can put that as a and you can also generate your citations, or at least online presence. The idea is to reach out with your work with, globally with the right kind of people and right kind of institutions. What portals to check out? As I have already told you, Google Scholar, ORCID, Academia, ResearchGate, Microsoft Researcher, Figshare, SSRN, UGC Vidwan, Publon, and Scopus, Elsevier. These are the prominent platforms. Everybody, those who consider themselves good researchers, should have their presence on almost 5 to 6 of these, platforms. And how do you increase? Just by creating your right kind of e-content and putting it in the right kind of a platform. Is my research making an impact? Can it be found online? So this answer comes in the form of archive. How do I archive? Madam, am I audible? My screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Okay. So archiving is very important because with reference to your archiving, you are found online, your presence is found online, your work is found online with right kind of keywords. This is where you should know about certain techniques or certain keywords for the online publication. One important word for us is called DOI, Digital Object Identifier. What is that? Every article published in a good journal online has its own individual independent identity. So even if the journal is closed down for some matter, or even the journal is not technically updating for some matter, your article, your paper, if you have DOI generated, it will stay somewhere online. So the idea is to archive your own work online. So archive in open access repository. Now, fortunately, many of the good journals, they have their own archiving policies. And when you publish your papers in good journals, please check what kind of archiving they are using. Because at Grand Academic Portal, we do have our 6 journals. And out of these 4 journals have already created that kind of an archiving with international, repositories. And we do have our DOI system. So everywhere when you go for DOAJ or any other, kind of journal publication requirements, they will check what kind of archiving. So my point is, why do we talk so big about archive? Because this is where your presence will stay untouched. So you don't have to rely on any website or anybody else to have your presence. You just put your name, put your DOI, that is Digital Object Identifier, and your research will be identified. This is also one way to use discipline-specific archives. For example, Arxiv.org is available through Cornell University Library, SSRN, Social Science Research Network. Now, this is a very interesting, platform. They do have more than 1,000 journals online, having its own ISSN numbers, and they are indulging into a lot of other, active archiving with the university libraries. African Higher Education Research, another archiving possible. REPC, another archiving possible. This is specific domain area of economics. Now, published in open access journal, is my research making an impact? Very quickly, not going very deep into research publication, but as and when you decide to publish your paper, please remember to go for the open access, not for the subscription based or the kind of offline journals. Publish in open access journal, find your name of the journal in directory of open access, DOAJ, a huge repository. Advantages is increased visibility, opportunity for use, and possible impact. When we say possible impact, we're talking basically about citations or maybe referencing your papers. Increase in citation from open access, of course, it's very, very understandable point. Open everything, all scholarly output possible. This is what is my point here to tell you that whatever you create, open it up on the right kind of a platform, and then you see the impact. connect and communicate. So social bookmarking, when you go on sites like Academia or ResearchGate or Google Scholar or even your SSRN, you have the facility of downloading right kind of articles, connecting with right kind of people, following them, recommending their work, saving their work in your library, and this will gradually increase your presence, online presence. So this is the summary for today's talk. Digital footprint, very important part as a career researcher. Effective digital presence will help you build a reputation among your peers, enhance the awareness of your work, make it more relevant to people following, and finally maximize your impact. So this was about the second part of my talk. In the first part, we spoke about the actual online content creation. In the second part, I tried talking about why do we need our presence online, and would love to have some questions, queries, or maybe comments.
Thank you for wonderful session, ma'am. Participants,
Yes, any questions, queries?
you have any questions regarding so
Thank you, Seema
can
ma'am. So even if you don't have that kind of a research output, my request and suggestion is to open your accounts and start following right kind of people internationally. Any other queries, questions? Thank you. Thank you, Anika ma'am. So
I
Pooja
think there
ma'am.
is no query, ma'am, because
Yeah, I'll be sharing lot of
explaining-
things online.
actually you are explaining in a very simple way. So all
Thank you so much.
So
So just
now
one
it's time for-
expectation
Yes,
that after this FTP, at least I'll be able to find 80% of you people online, and then I would love to have your presence online, and
yes,
maybe first have your presence and then start creating the content, and that is a better way to create your own different kind of a profile, because
yes, ma'am.
after 7 days of very extensive FDP, let me tell you one thing, that we are not going back into that physical mode of this thing. And then instead of cribbing about this new thing, it is always better to accept the challenge and learn about it. And yes, that is what we are doing at Grand Academic Code.
Yes, ma'am.
Good
Thank
evening,
you
ma'am.
so-
Good evening,
So
ma'am.
much, ma'am, for
Anita
wonderful
ma'am, good
session.
evening.
Yes, ma'am. Would like to share one of my experience.
Yes,
If you
yes, please.
permit. Yeah,
Please.
just before few days, it so happened that one of my friend, she just called me and then she gave me her friend's name, and she told me that that guy he will be he will be contacting me, and then for some this transcripts for things, and that guy he will be contacting me for the same. And then I said, okay, fine. Right now I'm busy with exam things, so maybe possible that for 1 or 2 hours I won't be able to answer him. But you just ask him to just message me on WhatsApp, and then I will connect him. I will connect to him once I am done with the things.
Yes.
Then what happened that after 2 hours, when I just answered his question, replied him, then he was like, ma'am, I had searched you everywhere and I found it that your academic profile is so nice, and you are very much busy with social things as well as academia and everything. And I was like, oh my God, like
Yes.
just one name. Just he put
Just one
one
name.
name in the
Correct.
Google search, and then he was able to reach the whole profile of mine, and he was like very happy. Okay, yes, ma'am, you are very much right at place. And then he saw everything. Okay, yeah, madam, aap kya kya karte ho? Everything was like, and then he was very impressed. So even I was impressed. Okay, let's see. By the time I reach him, उस मेरे मुझे मुझे मतलब मैं उसके पास पहुंचू उसके पहले वो उन्होंने
Yes,
मुझे
yes.
ढूंढ लिया. So that
So
was the
that's such
experience.
a
Yeah.
wonderful experience. I mean, so happy
Yes, ma'am.
experience.
Yes.
I'm happy that
Yeah.
you have shared this. And
Yeah.
let me tell you one thing, that don't wait for some research paper or something. अपने खुद के lecture के PPT, it is your property. No one can stop you from putting it, uploading it on your academia, because you are not
Yes.
you're not quoting somebody. I mean, it is your thing, right? Or even if you have used somebody's name, just put one liner of acknowledgement and
Acknowledgement. Yeah,
yes,
fine. Yeah.
and let it go online. I'm sure
Yeah.
we all have worked a lot in creating our own subject PPTs. That is
Yes,
your
yes.
property. That is your work.
Yes.
Let it go online. Let it go on academia. Let it go on, ResearchGate.
Exactly.
Start
Yeah.
sharing with the right kind of people, and then you see how wonderful, kind of connectivity you'll all have. So wishing
Yes.
everybody all the very best, and wish you all a very
Thank you.
strong online presence.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
ma'am. It's always pleasure
Thank you.
seeing you and
Thank you. Thank you.
attending your session. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you so
evening,
much,
ma'am. Can
ma'am.
I speak something?
Please, yes, please.
Yes, yes,
Good,
please.
ma'am. It was really very wonderful session. Explained very nicely. Ma'am, I also want to share my experience with you.
Yes, please, Rajesh sir,
yeah.
yes.
Because of my online presence, I received the different calls from universities, different 7 to 10 universities, I would like to say. Since now every particular autonomous universities are coming in forefront, they have
Yes.
contacted me to derive their syllabus and develop their curriculum, and I have been fortunate to do so for esteemed and prestigious universities. And by that particular thing, I am able to update my knowledge, upgrade myself also to a huge extent. So this
Yes.
was the particular thing which I thought that I should share on the particular platform, that I have
Yes.
been contacted for developing curriculum, developing syllabus, developing applied orientation sessions. That is, I've tried a particular way. There is a subject called legal aspects of business.
Okay.
Now, legal aspects of business is all about cases and facts and circumstances.
Right.
I have created the simulation exercises wherein the different cases have been applied to different scenarios, and
Right.
that particular scenario based learning have been accepted by the universities and they have been acclaimed. So
Right.
that was through my online presence, and that is the thing I wanted to share with you.
That is so amazing to share such happy experiences. So also one more request to open your account on UGC Vidwan, register
Definitely, ma'am.
yourself.
I'll definitely do the needful, and accordingly, I'll also give go on Orchid and so much content which I've developed over a period of time, and I would definitely like to upload them, because I was bit hesitant to upload because of the particular online issues which are happening. So, but now definitely
Yes.
I'll upload huge content, and they are totally exclusive ones. So definitely you will see my better performances in the
Very good,
coming
sir.
time.
Wish you all the very best. And in fact, एक point आगे जाके, if I can share that, even if you feel that you have copied somebody else's PPT, but you have used it, एक one-liner, acknowledgement, and then put it online. Because
definitely.
I'm sure we have been doing a lot of original work, अपने खुद के lectures, अपने खुद के writer.
Sure, 100%.
Even
ma'am.
syllabus, we have been putting lot of efforts in making our own syllabuses. So those who are in board of studies or syllabus committee, that is your property. So you can put it online. I mean, lot of, this is the e-content is not only teaching, learning and syllabus. It is much, much more. So try and explore, and then I think the sky is the limit once you get that kind of.
Sure, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It was
So
really
Pooja ma'am,
wonderful talking to you, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you.
Pooja ma'am, we
Thank
can
you,
wind
ma'am.
up this session.
Participant. Ma'am, if you permit now, moving further for the formal vote of thanks.
Yes.
Yes. So good evening, everyone. It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful event. On behalf of the organizer, I, Dr. Pooja Chaturvedi from Rabindranath Tagore University, would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed, eminent, and very renowned speakers in different sessions in their areas. Thank you all for giving a very useful and very informative information and sources regarding e-content development. Then a wide round of applause and thanks to all the participants who made the event a memorable one. Without you all, it was not possible. So thank you all the participants. Thank you for our technical team for their support. Thank you one and all who help us direct or indirect way. So thank you all. And a special thanks to Japi sir and Preeti ma'am for giving the platform to learn most demanding and challenging things nowadays for our teachers. So thank you one and all. And please, kind attention, please stay in the group. We will share feedback